get dirty! Woo, shit!
Do I look like a baby? Do I have a little sookie in my mouth? Am I wearing a little diaper? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, you know who it is, and I come at you guys back again once again with a brand new video. And ladies and gentlemen, allow yours truly to present you guys with our next Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon competitive guide / review, whatever you want to call it. And in this video, we are going to be reviewing none other than the big bad cat himself, Incineroar! And I am honestly so very much excited to be reviewing this Pokemon. Like, this Pokemon Incineroar, it is just, where do I even begin with this Pokemon? This Pokemon has so much potential, not to mention, it is one of the most badass looking Pokemon that there is in the history of badass Pokemon. But with all that being said and all the badassery aside, let's take a look at the basics of Incineroar by taking a look at the typing, abilities, and stats. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the basic details of Incineroar by first taking a look at the typing. It is going to be that of Fire and Dark, a very interesting, effective, and unique typing, especially offensively. Fire and Dark is a great offensive typing and pretty awesome defensively too, if I'm going to be completely honest. So coming up next is going to be its signature ability known as Blaze, and I say signature because it is the signature ability of all fire-type starters. Now, this Pokemon does in fact have a hidden ability, and like you're not seeing on the screen because it is hidden as well, it has the hidden ability known as Intimidate, which is not yet released. And Intimidate, baby, woo! This is what's going to make this Pokemon even more of a badass monster. But Blaze is a pretty solid ability in of itself because Blaze kicks in when you are below a third percentage of your health, and it blazes up and fires up your fire type moves by boosting the power of it by 50%. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the stats and take a look at the stats. My god, these stats are so incredibly awesome. So, starting off, ladies and gentlemen, it has a really solid, really nicely done 95 base HP. And when you couple that with its defense and special defense, both of which are at 90 apiece, this Pokemon is meant to take hits, okay? And especially given the fact that its release of its hidden ability, Intimidate, is going to be eventually released, man. Like, it is just going to add on to its defensive bulk even further, baby. And then we take a look at the offenses. Its attack stat, base 115. Hello! How are you doing? That is just such an amazing attack stat. And let's take a look at the special attack. It is at a respectable base 80. I mean, it's obviously not as good as its base 115 attack when you compare it, but it's like comparing apples to oranges, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're different, yes, and they have different tastes, and much like these two stats, they're going to be serving different sort of purposes and attacking from different sides of the spectrum defensively. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we take a look at the speed. It is going to be that of base 60. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that right off the bat, numerically, it may seem like a little bit of a letdown, but on the bright side though, ladies and gentlemen, this Pokemon can be rather functional under the effects of Trick Room, and also, ladies and gentlemen, there are ways to boost its base 60 speed, and it is going to be well demonstrated and documented here in this video. So, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to move on to its typing strengths and weaknesses. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and let's analyze its typing. So, we take a look, unfortunately, at the bad news first. It is going to be its weaknesses, and it's weak to the likes of water, fighting, ground, and rock. Now, the bad thing about this is that all of those typings are very common, and not to mention with this rock type weakness, it also means it's going to be weak to stealth rock. So that's definitely a big time thing to keep in mind when it comes to using Incineroar. And also, ladies and gentlemen, it happens to be weak to fighting type priority like Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave. But ladies and gentlemen, that is where the bad news ends. So let's go ahead and let's move on to its immunities. It has an immunity to Psychic thanks to its Dark typing, baby. Oh yeah, things are getting good already. And then we take a look at the resistances. It's going to have a resistance to the likes of fire, grass, ice, Dark, Ghost, and Steel, which means it's gonna have plenty of types to resist. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you take a look at the resistances slash immunities and then stack it up with its naturally awesome bulk. This Pokemon is meant to take hits as well as dishing out a ton of punishment inside the wrestling ring and outside too. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's move on to some sets that you can use for Incineroar. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so with this first set that we got going on here, the ability for choice, well, its only ability that it has to choose is none other than Blaze. And don't get me wrong, like I said before, it is not a bad ability whatsoever. In fact, can be quite powerful in the right sort of situation. Anyways, as for the item of choice, we're going to be going with an Assault Vest here in this situation. Now, what Assault Vest does is it only allows for you to use offensive moves, but on top of that, you get a 50% boost into your special defense, adding onto your bulk even further, which is absolutely amazing for a Pokemon like Incineroar. Anyways, we get to the nature, it is going to be that of Brave, so that way you are lowering the speed and increasing the attack. We're not going to be really worrying too much about speed here in this situation, given the fact that this Pokemon is naturally slow as is, and you're not going to be compromising its special attack if you were to go for something like Adamant. So, as for the EV spread, we're going to be maxing out with the HP and attack with 252 EVs a piece and 4 into the special attack. And then we get to the first move. It is going to be its signature move, known as Dark as Lariat. It is such an amazing Dark-type move that ignores any stat boost of the opponents. So, that is just absolutely amazing. The next move is going to be that of Fire Blast, and the reason for Fire Blast is because while it is a special type attack, it is not going to have any recoil unlike, say, Flare Blitz, which is obviously going to be capitalizing on the really solid physical attack. It is obviously going to be going against the intent of the set, being a slow, bulky attacking set, so Fire Blast is what's going to make this Pokemon quite effective as also a mixed attacker, so that is also something to keep in mind. So the next attack that we have up for choice, it is going to be that of U-Turn, and U-Turn is a fantastic move to have on a Pokemon like Incineroar because this also turns this Pokemon into a slow, bulky pivot set, and that is going to be very, very solid to gain momentum and to scout out what your opponent is going to be doing. And just imagine how much the effectiveness will increase of this set once it has Intimidate. It's going to be like a slower version of Landorus, except it's going to be a Fire-type Landorus in a way if you think about it. And then last but not least, we're going to be going for Fake Out, and the reason for Fake Out, ladies and gentlemen, is so that you can break through the likes of Sturdy, Focus Ashes, etc., and also get some good free chip damage off. But I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you are not a fan of Fake Out and you want to be able to have a really solid move to use against the likes of Rock-type Pokemon, then you can definitely go for something like Earthquake. It is definitely a really solid move to make use of, but this right here is my set of preference, but it's really up to you on how you want to use this set. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next set. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so for the next set here, Blaze is obviously going to be its ability of choice, and the item of choice is going to be its signature Z Crystal, the Incinium Z. So I think you guys know where we're going with a set like this. Oh man, I'm excited. So with that being said, let's go to the nature. It is going to be that of an Adamant nature, because we're going to be going all out with the attack here in this situation, with 252 EVs into the attack, 252 into the speed, and 4 into special defense. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, while this Pokemon doesn't exactly have the greatest speed, and you really don't like the idea of investing max speed, then you can very easily invest it into the HP to give it good overall bulk. But in this situation here, we're trying to make Incineroar as really fast as possible. And I wouldn't say really fast, but faster than your average Incineroar as possible. And we're going to be maxing the rest into the special defense with 4 EVs. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going for the first move. It is going to be that of Swords Dance, and man, oh man alive, this move right here is awesome because it's going to be boosting your attack stat by 2 stages, man. Woo! That's absolutely amazing. And then the next move is going to be its signature move, Dark as Lariat, and you pair that with Incinium Z, it is going to turn into Malicious Moonsault, which is going to hit for ridiculous base power. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. I believe it's like base 180 or 185 power, somewhere around that range. It is very, very scary, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! I'll tell you that much, baby. Now, as for the next move, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going with Flare Blitz, and we're not going to be worrying so much about the recoil here in this situation because this set is meant to hit as hard and as fast as possible, and Flare Blitz is a very solid base 120 fire type move, and it's just gonna hurt, especially with the Sword Dance boost. Man, it's just like, get the opponents out of there, man. This Pokemon is on fire. It is gonna be burning you alive with Flare Blitz. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, if that wasn't bad enough, it gets access now to Drain Punch, which is going to be its last move. And this is such an amazing move because it's a fighting type move, and with the combination of fire, fighting, and dark, you have basically unresisted coverage. I think only water and fairy type Pokemon are going to be able to resist that type combination, but either way, this is going to be a wonderful move to round off this set because half the damage that you inflict is going to be, of course, converted into health restoration for you, and it goes hand in hand with Flare Blitz because Flare Blitz is going to be causing recoil damage. You are going to be taking chip damage. You are going to be doing a whole bunch of things that is going to be requiring for you to take sacrificial damage in order for you to set up. You know, there's entry hazards as well to take into consideration. That's why Drain Punch is just absolutely amazing to have on the set because, not to mention, it is a very possible, or I should say a very effective fighting type move that is just absolutely amazing, and it will hit very hard after a Swords Dance boost. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to move on to the next set. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so with this next set here, we are once again going to be utilizing its ability Blaze. Now, as for the item of choice, we are going to be using a Life Orb here in this situation because this is going to be an all-out attacking set as well, and we now go to the nature. We're going to be going with a Jolly Nature this time, so that way you'll have a little bit more speed to work with while lowering your special attack, which clearly you're not going to be needing in a set like this. We're going to be going 252 EVs into the attack, 252 into the speed, and 4 into special defense. And then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the details of the set. The first move, it is going to be that of Flame Charge. And while it does hit for base 50 power damage, the thing is that it will boost your speed by 1 stage. So after you hit off 1 or even 2 Flame Charges, you're going to be quite fast for Incineroar. And people are probably going to be thinking, well, shit, that's not good. Oh man, they're just gonna be thinking, it's like, what do I do now against this Fire Kitty? Like, that's just really not good. And coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Flare Blitz once again. Now, this move right here is almost a must, but I will say, if you really don't like the idea of having major recoil damage done by Flare Blitz, you can go for something like Fire Punch if you want. It is going to be hit for base 75 power, which isn't that bad, but it's also not good as well. So it is almost better to go for a move like this because you want to have more damage. Now, coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be utilizing Drain Punch. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Drain Punch, because this move right here goes really solid with fire and dark type coverage. Not to mention also, this is a great move to allow for you to have really solid opportunity to cause damage and heal up at that. Because when you think about it, you got Life Orb recoil, you got Flare Blitz recoil, you're taking damage, you're taking chip damage, you're switching into possible entry hazards, but Drain Punch potentially is going to be able to mitigate all of that quite effectively if you know what to go against when it comes to Drain Punch. I mean, Tyranitar, Bisharp, they're literally not going to be able to take a Drain Punch because that is a 4-time super effective move, and, well, they're likely going to be folding like a wet paper napkin. Well, I would say Tyranitar probably could take a hit because this isn't stab, but here's the thing, though, is that either way, your Drain Punch is going to be a really solid move to use. And last but not least, we're obviously going to be going with its signature move, Darkest Lariat, because it is a really solid physical dark type move that hits through the opponent's stat boost, which is that's just going to be absolutely amazing. Now, I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you really, really want to, you can sub out Flame Charge for Swords Dance and keep it as a Jolly Nature, or if you really want to, you can switch the nature to an Adamant Nature and keep using Flame Charge. Now, the thing is that with Adamant, it is going to lower your speed a little bit, but like I said, after 1 or even 2 Flame Charges, you're going to be having a really respectable amount of speed, so it may or may not matter to you. just something I thought I would point out, ladies and gentlemen. And also for the item of choice, you can use something like Leftovers, you can use something like Assault Vest, you can use Citrus Berry. It's really up to you. Hell, you can even use something as like Rocky Helmet if you really wanted to. It's really up to you is what I'm trying to say when it comes to the functionality of this set. So with all that being said, it is now time to move on to the next set. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so with this next set that we got going on here, it's a pretty interesting set, and a set that I'm very excited to try out in battle. Obviously, we're going for the ability Blaze, because that's the only ability that has access to, obviously. And the item for choice, we're going to be going for Leftovers, so that way you'll have a little bit of HP recovery at the end of each turn. Now, as for the nature, we're going to be going with a Careful nature, which is going to be lowering the special attack and increasing the special defense. And we're going to be going for 248 EVs into the HP, 252 into the special defense, and 8 into speed. And the first move, it is going to be Bulk Up. Yes, this Pokemon gets access to Bulk Up, baby. Oh yeah! And what this does, ladies and gentlemen, is it boosts your attack and defense stat by 1 stage apiece. Now, coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going for Drain Punch, and this, oh my god, goes so well with the set, because here's the thing, man, is that half the damage you inflict gets converted into health restoration, and when you combine that with the effectiveness of Leftovers and the effectiveness of this Pokemon's bulk, this Pokemon is potentially going to be very difficult to break through, especially once it gets access to Intimidate. You're going to want to go for Intimidate on basically every single set that you see, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is just such an amazing ability that is going to be changing the viability of Incineroar big time. So coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going for Darkest Lariat, because this move is just, it's basically irreplaceable when it comes to any physical set on Incineroar, because what this move does is it breaks through your opponent's stat boost, and it doesn't matter if they try to set up defensively on you or not. Darkest Lariat is just going to be ignoring all that shit, and it's just going to be breaking and busting through these barriers, man, that you want to call these walls, man. This Pokemon is going to make your walls look like, well, really frail styrofoam. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And when you combine Bulk Up, and after you get a few boosts, Darkest Lariat and Drain Punch, they're going to be hitting for ridiculous damage. You're going to be getting a ton of health back. You're going to be breaking through walls, and it's just going to be GG at the end of the day, baby. And then, last but not least, we're going to be going for Will-O-Wisp, as if this set wasn't already difficult enough to deal with. You are going to be using Will-O-Wisp to cripple physical attackers, because not only does this inflict a status on your Pokemon, but it also cuts the attack in half, which is going to make this Pokemon even more harder to take down on the physical attacking side. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you have other options at your disposal. You can go for something like Fake Out, you can go for something like Flame Charge, you can go for something like U-Turn if you want. Like, the options are basically endless, man, but Will-O-Wisp is definitely an amazing option to utilize and consider when running a set like this. So, with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to move on to yet another set for Incineroar. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so with this next set here, we're going to be utilizing a more unorthodox set for Incineroar, and while it may be unorthodox, it is definitely going to have an advantage over all the other sets, and that is that surprise factor, ladies and gentlemen. So, as for the ability, should kind of go without saying, it is going to be that of Blaze. The item for choice in this situation is going to be a Chesto Berry. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going for a Resto Chesto set up in this. But with all that being said, what are the details of the set? Well, let's keep on going, baby. So as for the nature, it is going to be that of Modest, which is going to be lowering the attack and increasing the special attack, and we're going to be utilizing 248 EVs into its HP, 252 into its special attack, and 8 into special defense. I think you guys know where I'm going with a set like this, you know what I'm saying? So, as for the first move, we got Nasty Plot. Yes, this Pokemon has a way to set up its special attack too, baby! Because this is going to boost the special attack by not 1, but 2 stages, which is absolutely amazing, baby! And coming up next, we have Fire Blast, which is a special attack hitting for base 110 power, and it is just absolutely incredible, and it hits hard, especially when you have a Nasty Plot boost behind it. And also, when you have a Blaze potentially boosting the power of it even further. Coming up next, we have ourselves Dark Pulse, which is going to be its secondary stab move, and it also has a chance to flinch your opponents, and it is just a really solid move to have in general. And last but not least, we are going to be utilizing Rest, so that way, after you've taken a substantial amount of damage, whether you are attacking or setting up, you can easily go for Rest, and Chesto Berry is going to kick in and immediately wake you up, so that way you're good to go for round 2 in this situation. Now, like I said, this set may be rather unorthodox, but like I said, it is definitely going to be providing a surprise factor, which will give you an advantage over your opponents in battle, because they're probably thinking, well, damn, I'm not prepared for this, like, what am I going to do? But with that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, that right there just basically sums up the use of this set right here. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually going to be concluding these sets and concluding this video. So I want to say thank you guys so very, very much for watching this video and allowing me to entertain and inspire you guys with this content. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure you let me know by smashing the like button, as well as subscribing and turning on post notifications if you are new here to the channel. And with that said, I want to say thank you guys so very much again for watching. Don't forget, I love each every single one of you guys, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe, support, stay positive, keep it 100, and also one more thing before I close it, ladies and gentlemen, is I love the fact that you guys are giving me your set ideas when it comes to the use of several Pokemon, and the Pokemon that I've been reviewing so far, you guys have been giving me crazy sets, and I'm just like, damn, that actually makes sense. How come I didn't think about that? So I want to say, keep it up, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are doing fantastic, and I more than appreciate your guys' input when it comes to these respective videos. So thanks again. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next upload.